Oscar and I were betrothed when we were children. When I was 7 years old, I developed a stuttering problem while trying to save him. However, he made fun of me with his friends, saying, "Who would be with a stutterer? A childhood betrothal doesn't count for anything." I calmly withdrew from his world, got admitted to the aviation medical school, and was named the most beautiful intern doctor. But he was very disdainful, saying, "What can a little stutterer achieve?" Until the promotional video I recorded with the wildest and most handsome pilot in the civil aviation industry went viral all over the internet. In the video, I spoke clearly. And the people beside me looked at me with warm and sincere eyes. Late that night, I posted an official announcement photo on my WeChat Moments. I'm with the boy I had a crush on when I was 17. Oscar finally couldn't sit still. "Jimena, don't forget that we have a childhood betrothal." In response was another man's casual laugh. "What does a childhood betrothal count for? Regretful guy, are you okay calling my girlfriend in the early morning?" I went to take some hangover soup to Oscar. As I approached the door, I heard the laughter and conversation inside. "Jimena, Stuttering. Who would be with a stutterer?" I stopped in my tracks. Oscar's voice came more clearly into my ears. "She sticks to you like a leech every day. It's so annoying." He deliberately imitated the way I talked. "She thinks that just because my family adopted her, she'll be tied to me for a lifetime." Someone continued to ask, "Oscar, didn't we hear your mom say that you two were betrothed when you were kids? And you haven't had a girlfriend for so many years. We brothers thought you two were really going to get married." Get lost. Oscar was slightly angry, took a puff of his cigarette, and sneered, "Who would be with a stutterer? I hate people who try to take advantage of favors the most. Does she think that just because she saved me back then, she's my wife?" There was a burst of laughter. "Bro, you're so heartless. Anyway, Jimena is really good looking." Oscar had a cold face. "Good looking? Then you go after her." Someone joked, "But she's just a little stutterer. If you really get her, she won't even be able to speak clearly when moaning in bed. Are you into that?" "Yeah, she only has eyes for our Oscar." "Would she even look at you?" Oscar stubbed out his cigarette and snorted. "I hope she doesn't have any inappropriate thoughts and knows her place. I'm going to enter the entertainment industry in the future. If it's dug out that I have a stutterer as my betrothed, I'll be laughed to death. If any of you wants to go for her, just do it. A child without parents is the easiest to be moved and fall for someone." The tips of my fingers holding the thermos bucket slightly curled up. It was supposed to be a warm spring in March, but I felt as if I had fallen into an ice cellar. So, this was how he thought of me. When I was 7 years old, Oscar was almost kidnapped. I led those people away, but I was taken away as the target instead. Although I was successfully rescued later, I developed a stuttering problem. Actually, I never blamed him. At that time, all I could think of was what my father said, "Jimena, you're the daughter of a public servant, so you must protect the people around you." I just subconsciously wanted to do what was right, but he took it as capital for me to take advantage of favors. A surge of bitterness welled up in my heart. When I was about to turn around and leave, the door opened. "Jimena." I didn't leave and was taken to the private room by Oscar's friends. His friend fidgeted and leaned close to his ear. Oscar just slightly raised his eyelids and looked at me. "Since you've heard everything, I'll be straightforward." I nodded. His friend wanted to hold his hand but was pushed away by him. "Jimena, you know that although we had a betrothal, it was all in the past. Just because of our parents' joking words when we were kids, you can't really think that I'll marry you, right?" I lowered my eyes and shook my head. Actually, I wanted to say that I didn't want to be with him. As if afraid that I still wouldn't give up, he continued, "A childhood betrothal doesn't count for anything. You should also persuade my mom not to keep nagging in my ear about matching us up. It's so annoying, you know?" These words were ostensibly about Oscar's mom, but they were actually alluding to me. I pursed my lips and nodded, "Okay, I know." But he interrupted me, "Stop talking. It takes you forever to say just a few sentences. If you get so upset that you cry later, people will think I'm bullying you." Actually, after being admitted to the medical school, I had been working hard to treat my stuttering. I could speak much better than before. As long as I spoke slowly, it was quite fluent. Over the years, none of my classmates knew that I used to have trouble speaking. I took a faint look at Oscar and gently placed the hangover soup on the table. Auntie asked me to bring it. Then I got up and walked towards the door. Oscar was stunned again and called out to me, "Come back." I stopped in my tracks and turned my head slightly. "Is there anything else?" Oscar frowned tightly, as if trying to see a trace of heartbreak or sadness on my face. But unfortunately, there was none. So he walked up to me, sneered, as if trying to cut off all my thoughts. "Don't go back and complain to my mom, and don't send me those long messages later. I'm too lazy to read them." Okay. I turned around and left without hesitation. Actually, the long messages he mentioned, I only sent once. It was when I just started high school. At that time, Oscar seemed to already dislike me a lot. He didn't allow me to call him brother at school, nor did he allow me to tell my classmates that I was adopted by his family. He also forbade me to mention that we had a betrothal. Then he kept distancing himself from me. At that time, I didn't understand why Oscar, who used to care for me and said I was his dearest sister, suddenly changed like this. So, after he hadn't said a word to me for a whole semester and ignored me at home, I sent him a text message. The main idea was that if I had done anything wrong, he could tell me. I really regarded him as a good brother, and I also didn't want Oscar's mom to be sad because of our affairs. He replied to me the next day, "Jimena, don't make excuses to monitor me for my mom. You'd better stay away from me." So, I really stayed away from him. Later, as I grew up gradually, I realized that back then, what was the point of asking for his answer? Silence and alienation were the answers. So, since I was 15 years old, between Jimena and Oscar, there was only a legal sibling relationship left. My cell phone vibrated. I took it out and saw that it was the employment notice from the airline. I started packing up to move as soon as I got home. Oscar's mom held my hand with teary eyes. "Jimena, I'm really reluctant to let you go." Actually, over the years, I was really grateful to the Oscar family for adopting me. And Oscar's mom was really nice to me. So, even though Oscar disliked me a lot, I couldn't refuse some small requests from Oscar's mom. For example, picking him up from the bar and taking him home, bringing him hangover soup, and occasionally helping him take something to his university. The film academy and the medical department were not far from each other. But neither of them was as close to the aviation university. So, every time, I would go to the aviation university a bit earlier to try my luck, and then I would go to see Oscar on my way. Every time, he would have a cold face. "Jimena, can't you live without me in your life? Find more things to do for yourself. Don't pester me, okay?" I explained, "It's Auntie asked me to come." He frowned irritably. "It's so annoying. Can't you say no? Don't you have your own mind?" I did, but what could I do? When I was 8 years old, my father died on duty while trying to save a drowning child. My mother went to participate in flood fighting and disaster relief, but unfortunately encountered a mudslide. Overnight, I, who had a happy family, became an orphan with no one to take care of me. Having no other way out, I was adopted by Oscar's mom. I know that part of the reason why she adopted me was to repay the favor for my stuttering problem caused by saving Oscar back then. But, she was really nice to me. I didn't want to make her sad. Now, I've finally graduated. It's time for me to have my own life. 05 After moving house, I just got out of the shower. The exclusive text message reminder rang. "Shall we continue the practice today?" I dried my hair and replied to the speech therapist, "Yes, we'll practice." When I first entered university, I used the money I saved from part-time jobs in my spare time to hire a speech therapist to treat my stuttering. I didn't have much money, so I hired someone who had just graduated from university. Later, that teacher went abroad and introduced a new teacher to me. However, this new teacher would cover his face every time we had a video call. He said, "No matter who is on the other side, what you need to overcome is the nervousness when facing strangers." It's been 3 years since my junior year until now. He is very gentle and patient. Sometimes, even without video calls, just listening to his voice on voice messages would make me feel quite at ease. We would practice for an hour without fail every Saturday night. So, actually, my speech has improved a lot. It's just that Oscar doesn't believe it. 06 Jimena seems very happy today. Could you tell me about it so that I can be happy too? Teacher Xiaozhou's clear, gentle voice came through the earphones. Thinking of the employment notice, I smiled. Yes, I'm really happy. I was a bit excited and wanted to tell him that the boy I had a crush on had become a pilot, and I had been admitted to the aerospace company where he worked as an aviation doctor. In the future, when he needs to have a physical examination and comes to the hospital, he'll meet me. I felt a bit of joy in my heart and forgot to reply for a moment. Perhaps seeing that I hadn't spoken all along, he said gently, "Don't rush. Take your time to speak. I'm listening. We have plenty of time." I smiled and said, "Teacher Xiaozhou, I'm going to be an aviation doctor. In this way, I'll be one step closer to the boy I like." There was a pause on the other side, and there was no sound for a long time. "Teacher Xiaozhou?" I called him softly. "The boy you like?" The voice on the other side was low and hoarse. After a moment of silence, he asked me, "What's his name?" I just thought Teacher Xiaozhou was chatting with me normally. Thinking of that cool and handsome face, I replied, "Ryan. His name is Ryan." "What did you say?" Teacher Xiaozhou, who had been silent on the other side, suddenly raised his voice. "You like me?" "Huh?" I didn't understand. "Isn't Teacher Xiaozhou named Zhouyanxi?" 07 on the voice call, he coughed twice, as if trying hard to suppress his emotions. "I mean, you like the profession that I also like." What a coincidence. However, I clearly heard a smile in his voice. "Well, Teacher Xiaozhou, actually, there's another thing I want to tell you." "Go ahead," he said in a deep, pleasant, and extremely gentle voice. I paused for a moment and said slowly, "My current situation has improved a lot. I'm also going to start working, so I think I'll stop the treatment. Thank you, Teacher Xiaozhou, for helping me for 3 years. To express my gratitude, I'd like to invite you to dinner. Are you free? Invite me to dinner?" Teacher Xiaozhou raised his voice again. I was a bit confused. Teacher Xiaozhou is so strange today. His emotions are fluctuating so much. Afraid that he might think it was too abrupt, I quickly explained again, "It doesn't matter if it's inconvenient for you. It's convenient. Jimena, it's convenient for me." "Then, let me decide the time and place, and I'll send them to you later, okay?" I nodded and agreed, okay. 08 Lying in bed, I couldn't fall asleep. I took out my photo album. It was a photo of me and Ryan standing side by side on the stage to receive the award when we were selected as Provincial Merit Students in Senior 3. That day, someone posted a thread on the school forum, saying that Ryan from Class 2 of Senior 3 and Jimena from Class 1 of Senior 3 were just like the protagonists in campus novels and were such a perfect match. There were many replies below. I also quietly gave it a like and saved this photo, by the way. With a warm white filter, only he and I were cropped in the photo. The girl had a slender neck, with long black hair tied into a high ponytail, showing a serene smile. And the boy beside her was tall and slim, slightly turning his head, with a smile on his thin lips and a lazy posture. Actually, it was easy to fall in love with Ryan.at that time. Although I had good grades, I could only speak well if I spoke very slowly. In order not to waste others' time, I tried not to speak as much as possible. But I also knew that this wouldn't work. So after school, I would always take time to practice behind the stands on the playground. There was no one here. I could also go back a bit later to avoid making Oscar unhappy. That day, I kept stuttering while reciting the text and was almost on the verge of crying. But then I heard a clear voice, with a bit of a casual and carefree tone, "Don't worry. Take your time to speak. There's no rush. Besides, your voice is so nice." Realizing that someone was there, my face instantly turned red. He walked out of the shadows with his school bag slung across his body and gave me a smile. "I can be your listener." Later, I learned that he was the top student in the neighboring class too and also the school heartthrob, but he had a cold personality and always looked so aloof. However, on a certain evening when the sun was setting or on a breezy night, he would quietly appear on the stands. Closing his eyes, he would quietly listen to my not-so-smooth voice. He would also suddenly appear in the alley where I was blocked by some hooligans and bravely drove away those who made fun of me. He said, "Don't pay attention to those unimportant people. You speak slowly because you spend more time than others experiencing the world." Who wouldn't be attracted? The clean and dazzling youthful spirit on him brightened all the joys of my girlhood. 09 The induction training took some time. Before I had time to inquire about Ryan's news, I was pulled into a gossip group by Sister Sue, who was mentoring me. There were the flight schedules of various single captains and first officers in the group. There was a lot of chatting in the group. I peeked at the screen and found that there was nothing that interested me. Just as I was about to quit the group, a girl in the group suddenly asked, "Does Ryan have a girlfriend?" I paused for a moment. The topic was diverted, and messages kept popping up. "I haven't heard of it. Where did this rumor come from?" I accidentally saw the screensaver of his mobile phone when I was having dinner in the cafeteria the other day. It was a picture of a girl, and there was a line of words on it: "The romance of the sunset glow should not be seen by me alone." What does the girl look like? What kind of fairy would be worthy of his good looks? I didn't see clearly. If there is one, we'll know soon. I silently pressed the position of my heart. It felt as if a wet cotton ball was stuffed there, stuffy and swollen. 10 However, unexpectedly, instead of seeing Ryan first, I saw Oscar first. The moment he saw me, he was stunned for a moment, and then he strode towards me and pulled me into the stairwell. "Jimena, are you done yet?" He seemed very angry. "Who did you ask for my schedule from and followed me here?" I frowned. "Oscar, this is my workplace." "Workplace? Did you sneak in using this excuse?" "I've already told you." Before he could finish speaking, Sister Sue saw me. "Hey, Jimena, why are you still here? Hurry up and get ready. It's time for the physical examination." Oscar glanced at me and was stunned for a moment. "Jimena? When did you start working here?" Sister Sue walked over and smiled. "Dr. Jimena is the most beautiful doctor here. Are you her friend?" Oscar was in a daze for a moment. I took the opportunity to shake off his hand and walked to Sister Sue's side. "Not a friend. Let's go." As I passed by him, I heard his very disdainful voice. "What can a little stutterer achieve?" 17 On the way, Sister Sue patted my hand. "I just remembered. There's a film crew coming here for work experience these days. That person just now was probably from the film crew. Don't you know him?" I thought about what Oscar had said before and pursed my lips. "I don't know him." "Jimena, we're quite lucky today. Captain C is here." Just after changing my clothes and sitting down, Sister Sue stood by the door and said to me, "Huh?" Before I could think about what she said, 3 people knocked on the door and came in. In the middle was Ryan. In an instant, it felt like my blood had stopped flowing. I and the whole world, only his flamboyant face and those eyes filled with laughter were left. The boy beside him took a look at Sister Sue and raised his voice. "Dr. Sue, is there a new colleague?" "Yes. For the pre-flight physical examinations in the future, you can come to Dr. Jimena. Our Dr. Jimena is recognized as the most beautiful and gentle doctor among this batch of new employees." That boy immediately sat down. "Then I'm so lucky. Dr. Jimena, could you please give me a physical examination first?" Only then did I come to my senses. I hurriedly avoided Ryan's gaze and lowered my head to pick up the sphygmomanometer. He was the last one to sit down. "You need to roll up your sleeves," I reminded in a low voice. He was a bit stunned and then realized that he hadn't taken off his coat. A teasing voice came from beside us. "What's the matter, Ryan? Are you conquered by Dr. Jimena's good looks?" He lowered his eyes and smiled softly. "Yes." My heart skipped a beat. When my fingers touched his arm, it was so hot that I almost withdrew my hand. "What's wrong?" he asked me softly. I shook my head but didn't dare to look at him. I just felt that it was so hot today. After the physical examination, Ryan stood up. But he was interrupted by that boy. "Thank you, Dr. Jimena. Ryan, let's go." He paused for a moment, looked at me, and left with a gentle smile. At the same time, a message from teacher Xiao Zhou came on my mobile phone. "I'm a bit busy recently. How about having dinner at the Western restaurant beside the Medical Appraisal Center on Saturday afternoon 5 days later?" "Okay." I replied to the message and then got up and walked towards the door. Just then, I happened to hear his friend's words, "Come on." Although Dr. Jimena is good-looking, our Ryan is a person who keeps himself clean and is very self-disciplined. I stopped in my tracks. The boy's hearty voice continued, "You don't know. As soon as he entered university, he went to audit the professional courses of broadcasting and hosting. Every day in the dormitory, he spoke in a broadcasting accent, asking us whether his voice was similar to that of a professional broadcaster. I was almost tired of hearing it. And there's more. He also went to teach himself something, but I forgot what it was. After learning it, he went to tutor that girl every Saturday without fail. Even if the King of Heaven came, he wouldn't be able to call him away. Damn it. You don't know. The two of them are going to meet in person." Well, you see, Ryan has a face that can charm thousands of girls, but he's actually a pure-hearted young man. It felt as if my heart was bitten gently by ants, with a slight and dense pain. 12 I planned to give up on Ryan. Although I had secretly liked him for so many years. However, perhaps he had already forgotten me long ago, forgotten that in high school, he had once been like a beam of light shining on a girl's cloudy days. But when I got off work, I received a message in the group. The company was going to shoot a promotional video. They needed to choose colleagues with good images and temperaments who could also highlight the professional characteristics. Unexpectedly, I was nominated to be the heroine, and the leading actor was Ryan. The video was in a hurry. Colleagues from the publicity center said that Ryan had already filmed some parts, and there were still some scenes with a girl that were needed. The shooting content wasn't very serious. I might need to take a few days off to cooperate and send it out on Saturday morning. I originally wanted to refuse. I was afraid that I would have some delusional thoughts again. However, facing the urgent requests from my colleagues, I still agreed. 13 After getting the shooting script and lines, I was extremely nervous. Although I could speak quite well now, I was always worried that something would go wrong at a critical moment. That day, I was practicing on the rooftop during the lunch break when I ran into Ryan. "Shall we go over the script together?" He walked towards me with long strides, his voice clear. The sunlight shone on his face, making me feel as if I had traveled back to the dusk when we first met for a moment. It seemed to be the same scene. I remembered that I had heard a saying before that one moment between people is enough, and countless times later rely on that one moment. I think perhaps it was on that hot summer dusk. Because of his appearance, there was an indelible picture in my world. He was an unexpected encounter for me and also a sudden love. When he was about to leave, I finally said the thanks that I hadn't had the chance to say in 5 years. "Thank me for what?" He looked at me with a low laugh, and there was a touch of tenderness in his words. But I still shrank back in my heart. Look, he actually forgot that in the 3 years of high school, he had shown kindness to a self-abased and strong-willed girl. Besides, he was about to have a girlfriend. I lowered my eyes and told myself secretly, "Jimena, don't daydream." After a few seconds of silence, I smiled and said, "Ryan, I stuttered a bit when I was in Senior 1. You encouraged me, served as my listener, and even saved me. I've always wanted to say thank you to you, but I just didn't find the right opportunity. Really, thank you. You warmed my youth." Ryan took a step closer to me and smiled faintly. "So, you remember all of it? Huh?" His gaze rested quietly on me, and his slightly parted thin lips were tinged with gentleness. "You're welcome, Jimena." 14 To cooperate with colleagues from the publicity center for the shooting, Ryan changed shifts with his colleagues. In those days, we were together every day and walked through many corners of the company. Although there were many people with us, I still felt very happy. If I hadn't seen Oscar again, On Friday afternoon, he blocked my way. Jimena, let's talk. I stepped aside and frowned, not understanding his intention of looking for me. Is there anything wrong? I'm in a hurry. Oscar stood in front of me. Jimena, who is that boy? Who is the boy that comes to look for you every day? Didn't he know that Ryan was the school heartthrob of our class? The two of them had even been compared before to see who was better looking. In the end, everyone thought that Ryan had good grades, was cool and aloof, and was slightly better than Oscar in all aspects. So, he lost to Ryan. Looking at his angry face, I moved aside a little. But he grabbed my hand. Jimena, keep your distance from him. I didn't understand. Excuse me, on what grounds are you saying this? I'm your brother. He asked through gritted teeth. Jimena, why didn't you tell me when you moved? Why didn't you come to see me anymore? Why didn't you bring me things? I felt as if I had heard the funniest joke and asked in return, isn't this what you wanted to see? Jimena? Excuse me. Don't delay Dr. Jimena, the most beautiful and gentle doctor in our medical appraisal center, from working. The voice came first, and then Ryan walked to the middle between me and Oscar. He raised his eyebrows at him. Buddy, do you want to inquire about me? I'm right here. You might as well ask me in person. It's so inappropriate to pull and tug at a girl from behind. It makes it seem like you're jealous. You. My name is Ryan. Oh, I remember now. You're the so-called adopted brother who used to dislike Jimena, didn't let her go home with you, and humiliated her everywhere, right? He deliberately emphasized the words adopted brother. It's really not easy for our Dr. Jimena to grow up healthily. After saying those sarcastic words, Ryan pulled me away. Leaving Oscar standing there, looking blankly at our leaving backs. Look, until now, he still didn't know that I didn't stutter anymore. 15 when the last shot was finished, it was already very late. Colleagues from the publicity center were going to edit the video overnight and send it out tomorrow morning. Ryan offered to take me home on his own initiative. When we walked under the street lamp, my shadow happened to be close to his. I slowed down my pace and secretly took out my mobile phone to take a picture. If it's destined that I have to let go, I think I should at least leave myself a memory that I can look back on. Jimena. At this moment, Ryan suddenly stopped in his tracks and turned to look at me. I quickly put away my phone. Ryan stared at me for a moment and then laughed. Look, the moon tonight is so round. Something good will happen tomorrow. What good thing? He raised his hand as if he wanted to ruffle my hair, but in the end, he put his hand behind his back and said mysteriously, you'll know tomorrow. Jimena. Good night. He's so good looking. Especially when the cold moonlight shines on his face. It makes my heart involuntarily beat faster. Good night. Ryan. I'm really envious of the girl you like. 16 I got up on Saturday and turned on my phone. There was a message from Oscar. I clicked on it, and a long string of text filled the screen. I frowned. It was too long. I didn't want to read it. After quickly scanning it, it said that we grew up together since we were kids. How could I turn my cold shoulder to him and abandon him just because of someone who showed up late and was unimportant? I felt a bit uncomfortable. Ryan is definitely not an unimportant person. He helped me a lot during the 3 years of high school. He was a beam of light in my dull and boring youth. After thinking for a while, I typed a line. Oscar, you're the one who asked me to stay away from you. As you wished. What right do you have to blame me and the person I like? How could you like someone else? Don't you like me? These two sentences seemed strange to me. I replied to him, arrogant people are really annoying. He immediately called me. I calmed down and pressed the answer button. Jimena, have you ever taken my words to heart? You used to be so obedient and well-behaved. But now, I interrupted him. Oscar, what exactly do you want to say? Silence. After a while, I heard his muffled voice. Jimena, are you going to give up on me? You've done so many things for me over the years and wouldn't leave even if I drove you away. Isn't it because you like me? After thinking about it, I told him very seriously, no. It's because your mother adopted me and treated me like her own daughter. I don't want to make her sad. It was never because of him. You. But we have a childhood betrothal. I smiled slowly and said slowly, Oscar, don't you think that just because your family adopted me, I have to be tied to you for a lifetime? Just because of our parents' joking words when we were kids, you can't really think that I'll marry you, right? There was no sound on the other end of the phone. After a few seconds, I heard Oscar's questioning voice, Jimena, what do you mean now? Are you drawing a clear line with me? I didn't even dislike your stuttering. Besides, we know each other well, and Mom is trying to match us up. If I really marry you, it's not that I can't. Didn't he dislike me? Who would be with a stutterer? Does she think that just because she saved me back then, she's my wife? What can a little stutterer achieve? I thought about what he said that day and chose my words carefully. Oscar, know your place and don't have any ideas about me. Who would be with their adopted brother? People would laugh their heads off if they knew. Then I hung up the phone and blocked him. My good mood for the day was ruined by this phone call, but today was the day I was supposed to have dinner with teacher Xiao Zhou. However, when I walked into the restaurant, it was surprisingly quiet. I walked out and checked the sign again, then compared it with the information on my phone. It was correct. This was the place. When I walked in again, I saw Ryan. Why was he here? I had to muster up my courage and greet him. What a coincidence, Ryan. You're here too. It's not a coincidence. Ryan took a step closer to me, his eyes fixed on me. I'm waiting for you. I was a bit flustered. My heart was pounding non-stop. He swiped his phone and opened a page. It was Teacher Xiao Zhou, Zhou Yanxi's WeChat. I was stunned. Jimena, hello. I'm your teacher Xiao Zhou. And I'm also your high school alumnus and your current colleague, Ryan. I held my breath and looked at him in disbelief. Teacher Xiao Zhou? Is Teacher Xiao Zhou Ryan? How could it be? And their voices didn't sound the same at all. Suddenly, what his colleagues said a few days ago popped into my mind. He went to audit the broadcasting and hosting courses every day, learned the broadcasting accent, and asked us whether his voice was similar to that of a professional broadcaster. He went to tutor that girl every Saturday. Even if the King of Heaven came, he wouldn't be able to call him away. They're going to meet in person. I was in a daze for a moment, and my heart started beating faster, until he locked the screen. On the photo, the girl was wearing a blue shirt dress, white shoes, and her long black hair was flowing on both sides. Behind her was the sky filled with the morning glow. Occasionally, a gentle breeze blew by, and a few strands of hair were swayed. It was a picture of peaceful times. That was me. In an instant, my mind went blank. Ryan carefully approached me and said in a deep voice, Jimena, Zhou Yanxi spelled backwards is Ryan. I've had a crush on you for 8 years. I've dreamed of being with you. You don't know how happy I was when I heard you say that you liked me too. That night, I couldn't sleep all night. My heart was beating so fast, and my whole body was excited. I took several cold showers, but I still couldn't calm down. I couldn't wait to tell you that I'm Ryan and that I like you too. But I was afraid that you would say I was deceiving you. Also, I was afraid that the me you saw wasn't the one in your heart. When we were shooting the video together, you don't know how excited I was. I looked calm on the surface, but in my heart, I was shouting to you, Jimena, look, this Ryan wants to confess his love to you right away. But I was afraid that you couldn't accept it. So, I thought that only when we were alone could I explain it to you properly. Finally, I've been waiting for today. I want to tell you sincerely and responsibly, classmate Jimena, I like you, I really like you. 18. It seemed as if the wind was blowing. It seemed as if fireworks were exploding. It seemed as if the deserted harbor was in full bloom with flowers. Only then did I realize that the reason he didn't dare to confess his love to me was that on the day of graduation, he heard my conversation with my friends. He heard me say that I had someone I liked and planned to confess my love to that person. But he didn't wait for my confession and thought that the person I liked was someone else. No, it was because I saw that he rejected many girls at that time. I was afraid of being rejected too, so I didn't go forward. Ryan continued, however, I was still unwilling to give up. I felt that I wasn't good enough and didn't deserve you. I wanted to be closer to you, so I applied to the aerospace university next to yours. I tried to meet you whenever I was free on weekends. What a pity that I didn't see you. But then there was a turn of events. A friend of mine said that a beautiful girl he was helping was from the same high school as me. So I found another way to get close to you. During the countless days and nights when we chatted and practiced together in the past 3 years, you don't know how eagerly I was looking forward to it. You were so close, yet so far away. Until I heard you say that you liked me 2.at that moment, my feelings got a response. Jimena, would you like to be my girlfriend? He finished speaking quietly, his deep eyes fixed on me. There was a deep sea full of love in them, which made me couldn't help but sink with him. At this moment, I even forgot to breathe. Ryan. This I do was delayed for 5 years. But fortunately, it wasn't too late. 19 Meanwhile, after the promotional video recorded by Ryan and me was released, it went viral on the same day. In the video, I spoke clearly, and there was no sign at all that I used to be a little stutterer. And the person beside me was wild and handsome, looking at me with warm and sincere eyes. Netizens exclaimed that we were a perfect match and demanded that we must be together. Especially when everyone found out that we had been in the same school before, and then happened to become colleagues and also filmed the promotional video together. With so many coincidences, it couldn't be just a coincidence. Guys, who can understand me? I actually got addicted to this couple and a company's promotional video. The guy really meets the image of the most handsome and wild male lead in my youth. And the girl, she's so beautiful and gentle. She's like a little fairy. Really, it completely hits my preference. A gentle and cool female Dr. X, a cool and wild pilot. Is there any such idle drama like this? These two graduated from the same high school. Woo-woo, it's a two-way pursuit. The novel about the moonlight in our hearts has come true in reality. That night, Ryan registered a Douyin account. He replied to everyone's enthusiasm. She's the girl I had a crush on when I was 17. She's so wonderful. My secret love has come true. Everyone can bless me now. Yay yay yay. 20 The video achieved great success, and colleagues from the publicity center invited everyone to dinner. Also on that night, I posted a WeChat moments. I'm with the boy I had a crush on when I was 17. The picture attached was the photo of the shadows of Ryan and me leaning together under the street lamp. It was a secretly taken photo, but finally, I could post it openly. Because I didn't often post on WeChat moments, after I posted it, many people asked in the comment section, "Ah? Who is it? Who is it? Which bastard got my cool and gentle goddess like the moonlight? Haha, didn't you check the hot topics on Douyin? It's Ryan, the school heartthrob of our high school. Damn. I'm so out of date. Woo-woo, they're really a perfect match." Among all the blessings, there were a few that didn't fit in. Is it over between you and Oscar? Little Jimena, what about Oscar? Didn't you two have a childhood betrothal? Oscar and I had some overlapping friends. And these people didn't treat me very well before. I was about to reply that we were just adopted siblings in a legal relationship when Oscar called me, "Jimena, don't forget that we have a childhood betrothal." On the other end of the voice call, he sounded furious. At this time, Ryan reached out, took my phone, ruffled my hair, and replied with a casual smile, "What does a childhood betrothal count for? Regretful guy, are you okay calling my girlfriend in the early morning?" Someone was about to step forward to stop her, but after a moment of hesitation, Henry stopped them, saying, "Let her be." I looked up and saw that his ears were unusually red. Almost when we arrived at the entrance of the community, he asked me, "Jimena, can I hold your hand?" My cheeks also felt a bit hot, but I still nodded obediently. My right hand was quickly wrapped by his big hand. The fingers that felt a bit cool just now were now filled with warmth all over my body. Even, there was a slight tingling sensation. Is this the feeling of holding hands with the person you like? Jimena, am I your boyfriend now? Ryan's voice came from above my head. His eyes were filled with gentle smiles. Those eyes were looking at me like this, which made my heart beat a little faster. Yes. Then can I kiss you? Huh? Damn, how can you be so cute? Pa, don't say bad words. Ryan nervously scratched his head and kicked the ground, now his face also turned red. Jimena, has anyone ever told you that you're so cute, so cute? My face instantly became hot, and I whispered softly, Ryan, don't call me like that. I can't help wanting to kiss you. Is it okay? Okay. When the warm touch came, my mind seemed to explode like fireworks. I just felt that my heart was beating so fast that it was about to jump out. I really wanted to tell him that his lips were so soft, but I was too shy. Since it was our first kiss, neither of us had any experience. So, after he quickly left, he gently pecked my lips a few more times. When our eyes met, I was so shy that I wanted to bury my face in his arms. I felt that my whole face was burning. You, hug me. Ryan's voice was a bit hoarse as if it had been moistened by water vapor, which was extremely charming. Then he lowered his head and brushed the loose hair beside my ear. When his fingertips touched my cheek, there was another tingling sensation. I unconsciously raised my arms and wrapped them around his waist. I could feel his waist stiffen for a moment, then I was hugged tightly by him, and then even tighter. There was a faint and pleasant fragrance on him. His chest was pressed tightly against mine, and I could clearly feel the intense frequency of his heartbeat. Until the rhythm of our heartbeats became the same. Jimena, I kind of regret it. I buried my face in his arms and was slightly stunned. Regret? Yes. I regret that I didn't confess my love to you earlier. Ryan, but I don't regret it. Because we've both become the best versions of ourselves. Standing side by side, it's not too late. 22 I had an appointment with Ryan to have breakfast in the company cafeteria the next morning. When I opened the door, I saw Oscar. I didn't know how long he had been waiting. There were dark circles under his eyes, and there was new stubble on his chin. There were cigarette butts all over the entrance. Are you with him now? When he spoke, his voice was a bit hoarse. I stood at the door and nodded. He laughed to himself. Jimena, how long have you known him? Are you so defenseless when a handsome guy pursues you? I frowned and took a step forward, slapping him in the face. Oscar, you're disgusting. He turned his face to one side, reached out and touched the slapped face, and laughed. I'm disgusting. Then you liked someone as disgusting as me before. Are we the same kind? I didn't understand what he was talking about. Didn't you like me when you were a kid? Didn't you write me love letters in junior high school? Weren't you clinging to the childhood betrothal and following me around every day, and couldn't be driven away? I shook my head. I only knew that I used to be said by others to be Oscar's child bride, but I corrected them one by one, telling them that he and I were siblings, that he was my good brother, and asking them not to talk nonsense. I remembered those love letters. They were all brought to him by others. So, did he misunderstand that they were written by me? If you don't like me, why were you nice to me? If you don't like me, why were you like a leech that couldn't be driven away? After he finished speaking, I said slowly, I don't know what you've misunderstood. I didn't write any of those love letters. I did like you before, but it was just the kind of liking for a brother. Maybe there was a little bit of other feelings before, but after I was 15, there was none. So, just because someone chased you casually and said they had a crush on you, you really fell for it to escape from me? There was sarcasm in his eyes. It seemed that he was certain that I was with someone else to spite him. I calmly looked at him without any emotion. Oscar, although I don't have parents, I'm not a girl without self-love or self-esteem. I won't fall for someone just because of a little favor. Ryan, he encouraged me for 3 years. He also learned broadcasting and hosting for me, taught himself to be a speech therapist to help me recover, and accompanied me silently for 3 years. I felt loved from him. You were the one who told me not to pester you. I fulfilled it a long time ago. What do you mean now? Oscar irritably tugged at his tie and finally lowered his head. Jimena, I admit that I've fallen in love with you. I can't stand seeing you with someone else. I can't bear that your world doesn't revolve around me anymore. 23 I was surprised for a moment. His liking was as inexplicable as he himself. So I quickly interrupted his words. Oscar, you keep saying that you like me, but what have you done for me? You just kept humiliating me, suppressing me, and disliking me. If this is the so-called love you said, then I tell you, I don't like this kind of love, so I don't like you either. The expression on his face cracked inch by inch, and finally, he said in a trembling voice, "It's not like this. At first, it was because my mom liked you, and I hated you for stealing her love from me. Later, I thought you were sent by my mom to monitor me, and I felt very uncomfortable. I was even more annoyed when I heard you clarify to others that you weren't my child bride. After that, you were like a programmed robot, always calm, always emotionless, and not as enthusiastic towards me as before. Jimena, didn't you like to act coquettishly to me and call me brother? Didn't I protect you for so many years?" In the end, his voice gradually became smaller. "Why suddenly, you're like a butterfly, flying away." I looked at him quietly and said slowly, "Oscar, I saved you when I was 7 years old. From when you were 8 to 14 years old, you protected me for 6 years. But you also humiliated me for 8 years. So I don't owe you anything. Besides, you don't really like me. You're just not used to the fact that the little stutterer who you could bully casually has grown up, become excellent, and fallen in love with someone else. I just didn't recognize my feelings for you." He tried to explain. "Jimena, listen to me. It's not like this." "What's it like then? Regretful guy? Tell me about it." Ryan's voice came from behind. He walked in front of me, pulled me behind him to protect me, full of possessiveness. "When she was being laughed at, you weren't there. You disliked her for stuttering. When she was blocked by hooligans at the alley entrance, you weren't there. You were afraid that she would be involved with you. In those years, it was I who quietly followed her behind and sent her home. You're her nominal brother, but during the 3 years when her self-esteem was the strongest while her heart was also the most vulnerable and self-abased, you didn't show up even once, let alone stand firmly by her side. So, on what grounds do you ask her to like you?" Oscar couldn't say a word. He opened his mouth and finally said with a lack of confidence, "On the grounds that we grew up together, that we're in the same household register, an unbreakable relationship." Ryan snorted and looked at him coldly. "Oh, you reminded me. Then I'll propose to her earlier so that her name will only appear in my household register in the future." I smiled. He was so arrogant. Ryan held my hand, our fingers intertwined tightly. "Let's go, girlfriend. There are your favorite dishes in the cafeteria today." As we passed by him, Oscar bent over, and the loose hair in front of his forehead covered his eyes. It seemed that he was about to cry. But what's the use? I don't believe in crocodile tears. After the official announcement, Ryan and I attracted everyone's attention in the company. A lot of boys and girls exclaimed that they felt like they were broken-hearted. But a few days later, I received a video sent by Oscar's mom. In the video, Oscar was in my room, squatting on the ground, drinking and crying non-stop. He said that he was sorry for me. I turned off the video and sent a message to Oscar's mom. "Auntie, I'm extremely grateful for your care over the years. Whether I'm in the Oscar family or not, you'll always be my dearest mom, and Oscar can only be my nominal brother." "Is there no chance at all?" Oscar's mom asked. Actually, I knew that she had always liked me and wanted to match me with Oscar. However, every time, I would tell her that I didn't have that kind of feelings for him. My relationship with the Oscar family could only stay at the step of being an adopted daughter. Soon, the phone rang. I picked up the phone call from Oscar's mom, but what I heard was Oscar's choked voice. "Jimena, could you please move back? Brother will be nice to you." Brother was wrong. Brother won't give you up again for his ridiculous self-esteem, for the unfriendly remarks from others about me, and for the bad sense of satisfaction brought by suppressing you. Could you give brother a chance to make it up to you, please? For our mom's sake at least, don't be so heartless, okay? The person who was heartless first was never me." I said coldly, "Oscar, in that case, you should also persuade mom not to keep thinking about matching us up every day. My boyfriend will be unhappy if he hears about it. Besides, I'm really tired of you, you know?" I finally threw back at him all the words he had said that day. On the other end of the voice call, there was only a faint sound of breathing. Don't complain to Oscar's mom, and don't call me or send me those long messages anymore. I have a boyfriend, and I'm too lazy to read them. Then, I hung up the phone. My girlfriend is really good at arguing now. Ryan hugged me from behind and put a bank card in my hand. I turned my head and asked, "What's this?" "It's the payment for my treatment. I've saved it all." "How could I take my girlfriend's money? It's not much anyway." "It's what you deserve in the first place." His eyes flickered slightly, and there was a casual and lazy smile on his face. "There are also all my savings and family property in it. The password is your birthday. I'll leave it with you." I quickly turned around to give it back to him. "This isn't quite right." He pinched my face, raised his eyebrow slightly, looking a bit naughty. "Then you can just think that I'm saving up for my wife. So that I can propose to you as soon as possible. So that your name can appear in my household register." I understood what he meant, and my heart felt a bit warm. The surroundings became quiet. I reached out and hugged him. "Ryan. Actually, I don't regret it. I don't regret not confessing my love to you after graduating from senior high school. I don't feel sorry for the years we missed either. After all, it seemed that we were separated but always together. And people who love each other are destined to meet. Thank you for approaching me, understanding me, warming me, and healing me. Thank you for coming to love me." Perfection has always been a false proposition in youth. But the regrets in our youth have now been compensated in another way. As the saying goes, if you keep something in mind, there will always be an echo. From now on, my secret love has seen the light of day.